it goes. Before we get into any of the NFL business, I just want to ask everyone one question. Who's winning the national championship on Monday?
Notre Dame.
My friends at Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
You're wrong. Yeah. Fuck you all. Well, you were wrong, weren't you? Because Ohio State are the national champions. Anyway, welcome back to Fourth Down Focus. This is the Divisional Round review and the championship game preview. James has got the running order. I think we're going to get into the Divisional Round matchups first. So I'll pass it over to him. As I always do.
Yes, we are. Because, again, our teams are all crap and haven't made it this far. So, first up, the probably most expected result of the entire Divisional Round. The Chiefs beat the Texans in Arrowhead. Travis Kelce, again, is a completely different animal in the playoffs to the regular season, as we probably all knew already. 117 yards, 1 touchdown. Chiefs win 23-14. Kean, although it was quite close in the end, it was pretty comfortable for the Chiefs all round in that game.
I've got so much to say about it that I'm not going to say. Firstly, why was Max shouting at people that has no clue what he was shouting about? He just looked a bit silly there. Anyway,
nothing from last week.
Anyway, yeah, like you said, Kelce a whole different animal in the playoffs. Don't believe that he should have been in the Pro Bowl anyway, but that's just it's a very obvious result. A couple of dubious calls, I think we'll call it that. And Patrick Mahomes flopping like he plays for Leeds United in 2013. That's an Adrian reference for anyone who doesn't know.
That's a niche reference for
yeah. Look, it's a terrible, terrible result for the whole league, but I think we all knew it was going to happen. Also, before we go on, I'm just going to apologise now for how I'm sat. I'm sat in bed because my usual podcasting area is currently being used. So, no, I'm not slouching. I'm just in bed.
Shocking.
Max?
No dedication. I didn't watch this game because I was out. But from what I've seen in the highlights that Kian told me not to watch because they'll make me angry, it was just what I expected, really. CJ Stroud, the Texans, they've not had the best season. They shocked everyone by beating the Chargers, I think. I feel like people were leaning towards the Chargers on that one. But obviously, Texans got the win, and then everyone assumed they were going to lose at Arrowhead, and they did. Kelce putting up 117 yards. That, like James said at the start, it's just playoff Kelce. It's what we've come to expect. It's annoying for anyone who's not a Chiefs fan or a Taylor Swift enjoyer, but it is what it is. I just hope the Bills stop them.
Yeah. Like I said in the group chat to you lot, it was the first time I've ever seen Sky Sports completely lose it over a ref call involving the Chiefs when it was the roughing call, unnecessary roughness on Mahomes when the two Texans players just bashed their own helmets together and they gave unnecessary roughness against Mahomes. Like, I've never seen Sky Sports lose it with the Chiefs calls, but they think they're sort of finally, they didn't say it, but what they were saying was they're going to, actually they did say it. They said they're going to protect Patrick Mahomes, aren't they? Was the exact phrase. I can't remember which one of them said it.
I think even Reynolds hinted at it like the night after when I was watching the Sunday games. I feel like there was something about a call and he was like, well, we saw one last night, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was daft. There was that bloody flopping rubbish he was doing as well. Just did my head in, and the whole as well was it roughing the passer? It was called on Will Anderson for his helmet to helmet when his helmet went into Mahomes' chest. It's just another fantastic call from the refs when the Chiefs were involved. Yeah, I think the Texans probably with a bit of help from the refs could have, or just at least the correct decisions being made. It might have been a different game completely, but Kelce was just a different beast again. We've just come to expect it from him, and I think that's all that really needed to happen. They didn't really do much else.
Can I just say, none of us mentioned Clyde Fairbairn missing 3 massive kicks as well.
There is also that, yeah. I completely forgot about that, to be honest. I was so annoyed with the ref calls. I forgot he was on the thinker. But one of them, it was really weird. I think it was his first one he missed. It flew so weirdly. And I think on Sky they said there's some black magic going on here because that's not a normal kick at all. But unfortunately, the black magic continues, and as Max said, we're just gonna have to pray for the Bills because I really don't want to have to back the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, but I will if they get there because I'm not backing a divisional rival.
Not that bit yet, James.
Oh yeah, sorry. Next up, we have the Baltimore Ravens against the Buffalo Bills. Snow game, sort of. That didn't really. I mean, if you look at the stats, there, I sort of point out Josh Allen maybe not his best game, but he didn't really need to because he did it all with his legs instead. did really well rushing. Bills got through in the end, but it was mostly due, Max, to a unfortunate drop from Mark Andrews on the 2-point conversion to tie this game late on.
Yeah, the Twitter erupted when that happened. I'm not gonna repeat that hashtag that was going around, but I'm sure you've seen it if you're on Twitter. Yeah, I mean the headline from this game is mainly that the Andrews drop, and also people saying, okay, is Lamar just a fraud? I feel like Lamar was strong at the start of the game and strong towards the end, but in the middle, he just wasn't good enough, really. However, I don't think you can blame that drop on Andrews. There was a chance that the Bills would have got back into the game if, got back the lead if Andrews had got that 2-point conversion. I just don't know. As an experienced receiver, as Mark Andrews is, I don't know how he's dropping it in that situation. I get the conditions were a bit rough, but honestly, I literally had my hands to my head. I was like, how have you dropped that? It's ridiculous. So yeah, the Bills playing the Chiefs at Arrowhead. The Bills have beat them once this season. Obviously, we'll get onto that fixture a bit later, but like I said before, I hope they can win. I hope Josh Allen can do what he does best.
Kian?
I think that, obviously everyone's going to blame Andrews, but you can't overlook Jackson's interception or Jackson's fumble either. I'm not saying it's 100% his fault. I'm not saying it's 100% anyone's fault. But when you turn the ball over, I think it was 3 times in the end. When you turn the ball over 3 times in a playoff game, you can't expect to win. For me as well, the one he drops, yes, it's his fault. But in them conditions, that pass has got to be perfect. And I'm not convinced it was. And, people are saying, they'd have won the game. But, you're leaving Josh Allen and the Bills. I think it was about a minute on the clock. How are you going to say they might not march down the field, kick a field goal? Okay, maybe Tyler Bass would have missed. But, look, I think the Bills were deserving of the win. Them stats on Allen are very deceiving as well. Makes it look like he had an average game. He had anything but. Without Allen, I don't think they win that game. 2 touchdowns with his legs. And numerous first downs that he gained himself as well. So the stats on the screen for Allen make it like he had an average game. It was anything but. And the Bills go into Arrowhead, and I'm quietly confident for
them. Yeah, he said it probably just was Allen did everything with his legs. It just wasn't his best throwing game. He didn't need to be because he didn't have to do it. But yeah, it's an interesting one with you said of the interception and the fumble with Lamar. You can't focus it all on Mark Andrews, but at the same time, in that situation, that's just as a veteran tight end, that's just a catch you have to make in that situation with the game on the line. Because as I said, the Bills absolutely may have gone up the field and made that field goal, but at least you forced them to, either get to overtime or you force them to make a really good drive out of it to get their points. But instead, Tyler Bass probably would have missed a field goal anyway. Yeah, it was an interesting game. I'm still iffy on the Bills, especially Arrowhead, just because that defense did prove me wrong a bit this game because they were a lot better than they had been against. The Broncos stats didn't really show that they were bad, but there was just a bit of sloppiness in there. Just not saying they had to be perfect because they didn't, but you could just tell they were a bit slow on that day. But they turned up this day, got it done, beat the Ravens, and it's going to be a very interesting matchup, which we'll get onto soon in Arrowhead for the AFC Championship. Moving on to the NFC side of things, and what on earth happened here? The Washington Commanders beat the Detroit Lions in Detroit. Jaden Daniels decided to just, whatever that is, just ridiculous. And 3 picks on Jared Goff, 1 to basically seal the game. To be honest, Max, I haven't really got much words for this game because I still don't really know what happened.
Do you still think the Commanders are overrated, James?
Yeah. Agenda over facts, mate.
Every single episode.
They can win the Super Bowl, I'll still say it.
Every week. Honestly, I don't know how they can beat the Lions and he still doesn't rate them. But you know what? Jaden Daniels is certifiably rookie of the year now in the offense. What an insane season he's having. I mean, the fact that he has a chance to go to the Super Bowl in his rookie season is ridiculous. And also, when was the last time a team picked at number 2 overall in the draft and the following season ended up this good? I can't remember. And
I can't remember off the top of my head.
You're looking at me confused, James.
No, I thought Kian said something under his breath when he was coughing.
No, I just coughed.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, it's giving me hope because the Browns pick at number 2 this year, so hey, maybe we're going to the championship next year. Who knows? We're not, but yeah, this was. I did also miss this game because it was the same night as the Texan one, but I watched the highlights quite intensely, and I still can't get my head around it. How the Commanders managed to pull it off. It's a really impressive game from them, and interesting for the Lions, to be honest. I mean, they've come this far, they've lost, and now they're losing Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, who we'll get onto later. So I'm interested to see what next season looks like for the Lions, to be honest.
Kian?
A couple of people said it when I was live this week. Have we ever seen a rookie quarterback, with so little go so far? I mean, he's got one star receiver, if we're being honest, and they've made it to the championship game. So, look, he's had an incredible season. Ben Johnson, who we'll get onto, why he called that trick play when he did, I honestly don't know. Look, Goff had thrown 3 interceptions, but put the ball in Goff's hand. Don't put it in Jameson Williams' hand. It's just, it's just absurd. Okay, if it works, we all go, oh my God, that's unbelievable. But it's just not the time to be taking them sort of risks. Jahmyr Gibbs had a day. I'm a massive fan of him. But look, Commanders are into the championship game, and I genuinely haven't seen a single clip of anyone predicting it. Usually when stuff like this happens, there'll be someone like a biased Commanders fan. I'm like, yeah, we're definitely going to get there. But I've not seen a single clip. So they're absolutely excelling. They're miles ahead of where they thought they'd be. Even if they lose on Sunday, it's still a really successful season for the Commanders.
I'd love to know what the odds were on the Commanders making the championship before the season.
Definitely high.
That's fair. I did see one tweet of some Commanders fan who, as a joke, put them in the championship game as Super Bowl contenders, and everyone laughed at him, and he was actually right. But yeah, it's just. I mean, we'll get on to the other game in a minute, but it's just not gone well for a Giant to be a Giants fan, is it? We're not guaranteed. We'll get onto it in a minute, but yeah, just hell on earth in that NFC Championship game. The Lions are my last hope to end this Commanders' reign of terrorism, but they're going to keep going all the way to the bloody Super Bowl at this rate. I could genuinely get onto their game in a minute, but I'm sick of it. I don't know how it's still happening. They keep winning games. I just don't understand how, because this is a team that couldn't score a touchdown against us in week 4. Now they're in the AFC Championship.
Let it go.
I don't get it. I've just not been impressed anytime I've watched them apart from these big games. They've had so many games where it's been like a Hail Mary, like that Hail Mary against the Bears. They never should have won that game.
Yeah, but you can say that about the Chiefs as well, though.
Oh, no, 100%. The Chiefs and the Commanders probably have records better than what they should be, just for your pure luck of certain things happening going their way late on. But yeah, it's just, I don't know how it's still happening. I don't get it. I just think that team on paper looks terrible, and it's just still going. Like, how on earth is it Terry McLaurin, and then I don't even know who their wide receiver 2 is at this point. Don't pretty much know who it is.
It's Diami Brown.
Fantastic. No. You're telling me him as a wide receiver 2, and they are one game from the Super Bowl. What is happening here? But yeah, awful day to be a Giants fan. And as we'll move on, an even worse day to be a Giants fan, because it's a whole NFC Championship game, and Saquon Barkley has absolutely torn apart yet another team, which is just fantastic news. But yeah, Kian, thoughts on this one?
I think this game would have gone a lot different had the snow not have come in how it did. I'm not making excuses whatsoever. Both teams have got to play in the snow. But, when you look at that Eagles O-line and running game compared to the Rams, I mean, look, Kyren Williams had a good game, but he's not on the same level as Saquon Barkley. So when you have to turn to running the ball so much, the Eagles, for me, are always going to win that. I think it'll be interesting to see, though, on next week. Jalen Hurts is apparently about 60% of fitness with his knee. He's not going to be able to scramble around. Obviously, 70 yards from him in this game. If he needs to throw the ball, that could be issues, is all I'm going to say. I thought the Rams were going to come back. When Puka Nacua made that catch, it almost looked destined. I think everyone was hoping for it to happen. But look, Nick Sirianni is in the championship game, and I really hope they lose. I don't even hate the Eagles. I just hate Sirianni. I really hope they lose.
Yeah, I'm just going to... Yeah, I think Jalen Hurts throwing the ball is going to be a huge issue for the Eagles if he has to, because he has proven by his stats all season he can't throw the ball very well. I think any team with Saquon has a chance, but as I said, I'd rather the Commanders win, because I hate both of them, but I hate the Commanders slightly less than the Eagles. So anything but Sirianni, we lifting that Lombardi, I swear to God. I am an AFC fan for the rest of the season. If whoever gets to that Super Bowl, I don't care who it is, I'm backing them, even if it's the Chiefs. It was just that one. I think we thought the game was coming back. Then that Saquon, whatever it was, 70-yard touchdown killed me again. And then they get the touchdown. Puka makes that catch, and all of a sudden, you think there's a chance. And then I think it was Jalen Carter came up with a huge sack on third down in the red zone to deny them that chance of getting back into the game. But yeah, it was a hard-fought victory, I think. But I think look at that Stafford stats, you'd be fuming for playing that well and still coming out with a loss. But there's not much he could really have done more, I don't think, because just the snow is just unhelpful when you're a quarterback who can't really run around. But yeah,
The fumble as well.
Yeah, the fumble. It happened you saw it with Lamar as well. It's just the conditions, I think, playing a massive part into that. I don't think they dropped that ball on a normal day. But as you said, you can't blame the weather because they've both got to play in it. So, Max?
I just need to rewind quickly to when James said the Commanders' reign of terrorism. If anyone's had a reign of terrorism, surely the Buffalo Bills. On
a side note to what Max had just said, did anyone see that fucking play call they had the other day?
Yes.
Yes, played 11. He doesn't help himself, does he?
Anyway, about this game, first thing is I agree with the Jalen Hurts stuff. I think he's like, he come out with a knee brace on. Did I dream that? Did that happen? He went off briefly and he come out with a knee brace on, and then he got asked at full time about like how fit he is, and obviously he just didn't really answer because
he was off his tits at full time.
They're not supposed to really give out injury news to give it away to the opposition teams and stuff, but he's not the best passing quarterback in the league by any stretch of the imagination. So I think he'll struggle if he's just forced to pass. And obviously he's playing a very dynamic dual threat quarterback in Jen Daniels. So that might give the Commanders an advantage. I don't know. But yeah, about this game, Jared Verse, by the way, insane player. He's going to be one of the top edge rushers in the league for a while, I think. Obviously, we touched on Kyron Williams, had a good game. Stafford, great game, but just not enough to get past Saquon and this Eagles team. I just can't get over how good Saquon Barkley is. I knew he'd be good behind this O-line, but it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I didn't really need any reminders. Still, we'll defend the decision to get rid of him on anything, but people will still call us stupid for whatever reason, who completely just don't understand anything about the NFL. But that is our little roundup of the...
Are we moving on to the news next? Because I've just got some breaking news. I'm watching the Pat McAfee show muted, and apparently the Jets are hiring former Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn.
Oh,
we don't have a graphic for this because this is breaking.
Yeah, we don't have a graphic for this because it has... oh, wait, is it literally just happened? Yeah.
It's on my screen now.
Okay. So yeah, that's some news. Has anyone got any comments on that one?
No, because I'm not able to prep on it.
My one comment, because I did see this rumor the other day, is they've just had Robert Saleh at the start of the season, defensive-minded coach, didn't go well, so they've hired another defensive-minded coach in Aaron Glenn.
Should have brought Rex Ryan in.
Obviously, Aaron Glenn, great defensive coordinator for the Lions this season, but I'm not a fan of defensive-minded head coaches personally.
Can we also just drop in that his final game as a Lion, he got 45 points dropped on his head?
There is that.
Yeah, you did say defensive-minded coach doesn't really tend to work for the Jets. I don't know why, with that offensive firepower, would you even bother? Their defense isn't really their issue, but looks like it's definitely not going to be an issue next year. But they're also going to score like 3 points a game with Aaron Rodgers not being able to move anymore. But yeah, we'll move on to news we actually have sort of prepped for. Kevin O'Connell extension. I don't know. It was quite a big one, wasn't it? I don't know what the exact terms of it were, but it was a lot of money and quite a long time. But he's led them to a very good season. In all fairness, with Sam Darnold at quarterback, I think he's probably one of the more impressive records, all things considered. Considering they probably had one of the worst quarterbacks to ever play in the playoffs, I think it's probably safe to say.
I mean, Tim Tebow did play in the playoffs.
True. As far as like a starter all season and did play in the playoffs, there's not going to be many at that bracket of Sam Darnold. But Kevin O'Connell faced that franchise for a few more years. Max, I don't think there's any really debate in that decision.
What's interesting to me is they've agreed an extension based on what he's done this season. Does that mean they're going to give the same sort of reward to Sam Darnold based on this season alone. That's my question to you two.
I think the difference with that is that, you know, O'Connell was masterminded the pieces of it and stuff. Darnold had a good year, but then proved that he can't do it in the big games. I don't think you can blame that on Kevin O'Connell. O'Connell put him in a position to be a game away from being the 1 seed in the NFC. And then it's down to the players then. I really don't know how much you can blame the coach on player performance, especially when they perform so well all season. So I think, look, he put them in that position and just, Darnold absolutely shit it. So I wouldn't, but it wouldn't shock me after reading that news if they did.
Yeah, I sort of agree. I mean, I've been in the same room as Kevin O'Connell. You can just see that he's got, like, everyone, when I spoke to Aaron Jones as well, you can just see he's got the whole team behind him, and that's exactly what you want. And I think, you know, as I said, any team that can lead a Sam Darnold-led franchise to, 15 wins, 14 wins is quite impressive.
14, I think, in the end.
Like, that is just very impressive, in my opinion. And I think he should be the face of that franchise for a while, because if you give him a good quarterback, like, let's say JJ McCarthy turns up next year and plays well, which I think it will be the case. I don't think they're going to renew Darnold. Again, even if he doesn't, just get him a good quarterback at some point. I feel like this Vikings team could definitely compete, because he literally turned the whole franchise around. I think many people thought going into the season, this team would be on a losing record with Darnold at quarterback. I don't think many people can disagree that they didn't predict that. So I think he's done really well, and he deserves what he's been given here, which is a lot of money and a long time guarantee to be stuck in Minnesota.
I think the Vikings are going to be worse without Darnold, to be honest.
I don't think I agree.
I don't agree with McCarthy very much whatsoever.
Yeah, where's the flag?
It's over there, mate. It's being prepped for the live.
Right, so we will move on then to the next bit of news, which is probably a bit more of we can all agree on this one. The Bears hired Ben Johnson as their new head coach. And Kian, we can probably all agree this is a very good move from the Chicago Bears.
I'm pissed off because everyone in the league circles, he's coming to Vegas. He loves the idea of Vegas. Clearly fucking doesn't. Anyway, I think this is the best move for him as a coach. They've got a lot of weapons on that offense. I'd be excited to see how Caleb Williams works under him. There's talent there, clearly. I think he needs a strong offensive line. You can't mastermind anything if your quarterback's on the floor 2 seconds after snapping the ball. So, you know, he's a great offensive mind, but, like, you know, you need a strong offensive line. And the thing for me with coordinators going into head coaching roles is I always worry, do they have that ability to lead a locker room? It's very obvious in Detroit that the leader is Dan Campbell. So is Ben Johnson just a little nerd who draws up plays, or has he got the firepower to be someone that the players hate but the players respect?
Max?
Keane nailed it, to be fair. I don't know if I'd call him a little nerd, but he's nailed it.
In the nicest way possible.
The main thing I agree with is the O-line. In the Lions team, they've got that incredible O-line that it's taken them years to build. I think they've got like 4 first-rounders on that O-line, and it's really solid, so it gives Goff time to make these crazy plays happen. And also the fact about him being like a leader in the locker room, being like a man manager sort of thing. Does he have that kind of ability, or is he just the guy who can draw up creative plays? I think he also needs to either work himself with Caleb or get someone in to work with Caleb, and just get over a few of those rookie year slumps that he's had, like the stuff like holding onto the ball too long.
Yeah.
He needs to get that out of the game so he can pull off this kind of mad shit that he does. But yeah, I think if we give him a few years and they don't jump the gun and fire him too early, if he doesn't go great straight away, give him a few years, and I think that we could even see them push for the playoffs at some point in the next few years.
It's a good appointment, but as you said, it's pretty much nailed it on. It's just, has he got the ability to go and lead a team? Or I'm not going to call him a nerd as well, but yeah, is he just the guy who draws the plays up and then just hands it off? Dan Campbell does the rest. I think it's still a good appointment nonetheless. I don't think there's many better options they could have got, unless you go for like someone like Belichick and just try and prize him away from North Carolina. But I think, yeah, it's a decent young coach who has we've seen this sort of pattern since Sean McVay, teams trying to hire young coaches and just see if it works because of how well that's worked. We've seen teams do it and fail quite a bit. So hopefully for the Bears it won't be a failure, but the O-line is just, there's going to need some serious work on that O-line to help Caleb because it was bad, like really bad. So hopefully they can sort that out within the next year or two, and they should be able to compete. Their issue is they are in probably the best division of football, so that doesn't help either, I don't think, with how just trying to get into the playoffs. As we saw with the Vikings, ended up as the 4 seed, 3 seed with
5,
14
I think it was.
5 seed with 14 wins is insanity, but praise the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going as the 4 seed with 9 wins.
That's just the way the divisions work, mate.
Huh?
That's just the way the divisions work, mate. It's got nothing to do with the wins you've got.
No, I know. That's what I mean. And then, as Max said at the start,
Yeah! Come on, Buckeyes!
The team that nobody wanted to win the national championship has won the national championship. The most dislikable franchise in college football are national champions, undeservedly so. But it's quite easy to win a national championship.
We went through the first ever 12-team playoff, battered everyone, mate. Absolutely battered everyone. This game, Quinshon Judkins, 3 touchdowns, 1 through the air, 2 on the ground. Will Howard, an absolute beast. Jeremiah Smith could go in the first round this year if he was able to declare, but he's a freshman. We are the best team in college football.
Quite easy when you throw 20 million NIL deals at everyone, isn't it?
Yeah. The game's the game. The game's the game.
This is the golden age, and there's a pundit in America who loves to say it quite a lot, that this is going to be the start of the golden age of college football. The money and the NIL deals being allowed is going to level the playing field. Exactly. all these schools have got money. I don't know why you're doing that. Like, all these schools have got money.
Yeah, but I don't think all of them have that kind of money.
I don't think Army are going to win a national championship anytime.
Obviously not. But like teams that have been there in the past and been in and around it, it's going to level it. I think it's going to be very exciting. And like Max said, Smith, unbelievable player. It was the first time I'd actually watched him, and I am so moved.
He's insane, man.
I mean,
top 5 when he gets drafted, I promise you.
I've watched him quite a lot. He does have all the makings to be a very high draft pick whenever he decides to declare. I don't know if it'll be next year. I feel like he'll wait a bit, but I suppose unless you want to cash in on just when you're good to declare, I suppose.
Can we just part of that? Why did they try and kill Riley Leonard on the first drive?
That first drive was ridiculous.
That was mental.
9 minute 45 seconds. I think that drive took off the clock.
And then he went off and threw up.
Yeah, and then the Ohio State Buckeyes come on the field, and how do you answer that kind of drive? You score 3 consecutive scoring drives.
Also, whichever one of you lot edits this, please can you put in the video of the woman crashing the cart?
Yes, I will.
with the coach with Ryan.
You've not seen it?
No. Have you not seen it?
It's after the game. She's like driving a little like golf cart kind of thing. Like through the arena, it's got like Ryan Day and Will Howard on it, and she just fucking smashes it into a wall. And Ryan Day's foot is like hanging out the side of the cart as well. He could have like completely fucked his ankle.
Takes the wheel off the cart as well.
And then she tries driving it, and Will Howard just gets out. He's like, "No, we're not doing that."
She walks off and all.
No, I haven't seen it, but yeah, I said it's quite. I think I don't know if I necessarily go it's going to level the playing field because it just gives the teams with more money even more power to just be better than everyone else. As much as the other teams can try and do it, they're not going to be able to. But
I also think the 12-team playoff levels the playing field. I think I like it.
I like the format, but like there's certain teams going through as seeded teams that should never in a million years be seeded teams.
You what?
Did your team make the playoffs, James?
Yes.
Okay. So who did you play?
Ohio State.
I can see why you don't like it.
Yeah. Whereas Arizona State and Boise State get a bye. Makes perfect sense. But yeah. I think the system will work if they fix it with the seeding because the seeding is all over the shop. Because Ohio State should not have been going in there as a non-seeded team. Like, let's just.
The point is that we are the national champions, and you can all suck it. Especially you lot in our Discord, suck it.
And also, more to the point, can we all just celebrate in unison how Alabama didn't even make a 12-team playoff? So that's our review done for the week of all the news and what have you from the divisional round. And now we move on to the penultimate week of NFL action, discounting the Pro Bowl, obviously.
No, we're not counting the Pro Bowl.
There we go. So we have the penultimate week of NFL action, the NFC and AFC Championship round. So it'll be quite a short little episode today because we've only got 2 games to predict. But we'll start off on the left-hand side of the bracket. We'll try and make it a bit more in-depth so the video isn't over in about 5 minutes. But Kian, we have the Buffalo Bills in Arrowhead against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Just for you, James, can we just have a look at the Buffalo's run to the playoffs? No, run to the championship game? Smash the Broncos, beat the Ravens, and now they're here.
I thought you were about to say smash the Ravens, and I was about to be a question.
No. Right. This Sunday night, Arrowhead becomes Allenhead. They're going to go in there and they're going to win. I'm telling you, this is the closest these 2 teams have been in terms of talent in a long, long time. I genuinely think this is Buffalo's year, and I don't think there's a set of fans that deserve it any more than them. They've been to 4 Super Bowls. I'm pretty sure they were all consecutive, and they lost every single one. You know, this is a fan base that I'm pretty sure has never seen a ring.
At least they've been to Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
They've had a lot of kicking, like miserable kicking years. Look, the Chiefs are a hard team to stop in the playoffs. They've got a 12th man. We know this, and it's not the fans. But look, I have no doubts that Buffalo can go in there and get it done. They made the Chiefs look like amateurs in that game at the start of the season. All right, albeit it was in Buffalo. Whole different story playing at Allenhead. But I'm telling you, this is definitely the year Buffalo make the playoffs. Not the playoffs, the Super Bowl. They're already in the playoffs. I'm already dreaming of Sunday. Josh Allen holding that little AFC trophy above his head, knowing the job is not yet done. But yeah, give me the Bills.
Yeah, sorry, Max. Not all teams can be as good as like the Giants who can win Super Bowls, you see. And
now you're 1 pick ahead of us. Well done, mate.
Well, at least we won something ever. Go on then, Max. What do you think for this one?
Do I need to extend it out a bit? Let's see how long I can talk about how much I hate Mahomes and how much I love Josh Allen. Mahomes doesn't deserve another Super Bowl, and he deserves to be banished from the league because of his use of black magic and cheating and paying off the refs. And Josh Allen is a real man's player. He's a big guy, runs through people, he scores with his legs, he scores with his arm, he scores with he'll score with his ass if he has to. I don't care. This man deserves a Lombardi, and he's going to get one. I'm predicting the Bills.
Yeah, I did see a
TikTok analysis from me there.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I did see a TikTok today, and it was like the best Chiefs all-time 11, and it was just all names of famous refs.
Was Clay Martin in there?
I think so, yeah.
It should be. They've not lost when Clay Martin's ref.
I think he was quarterback. I haven't predicted the Bills to win a single game in the playoffs, and I'm still not going to predict the Bills in hope that I might jinx it again. Yeah, this is. I don't want it to happen at all because at the end of the day, I'm going to have to back the Chiefs in this Super Bowl if they win. So this is basically the side of the bracket that I need to win the Super Bowl, whoever it is. I really hope it's the Bills who get there. I just can't see the Chiefs losing. I don't know what it is. Like they've not really impressed me in any game they've played at all this season, but they're still in the AFC Championship game, and all they have to do is play 20% better, and they win this game. Mahomes is 3-0 against Allen in the playoffs. It has got to end eventually at some point where you'd like to think it would end eventually, but I don't think it'll be this year. I just think it could be a really high scoring game or a really low scoring game because with the Chiefs' record this season, I don't think they've scored more than 30-something points in a game all season. I don't think that will continue. I think they'll do it this week, and I think they'll win, unfortunately, and head to the Super Bowl. As much as I really hope it doesn't happen, but as I said, I haven't predicted the Bills once this season, so in the playoffs. So hopefully, if by not predicting them again, I will yet again jinx it, and then I might also predict the other team to win the Super Bowl, and I'll jinx it again. But yeah, I'm going with the Chiefs as my prediction, but I want the Bills to win desperately.
Can we just say, you are the type of person that Josh Allen was talking about when he said we've been underrated all season.
That's fine.
How, against the Broncos, did you not pick the
I
Bills?
told you I didn't believe it. I just wanted to be edgy for a pick.
And you were convinced that the Ravens were going to go into.
Yeah, well, the Ravens, I'll take it. Like, I did think they'd win that game. But the Broncos, I was not convinced by any stretch of the imagination. I was just being edgy.
I also picked the Ravens, to be fair.
Yeah, there was no rhyme or reason behind picking the Broncos. It was just I
Josh
thought I
Allen.
had to pick one edgy team, so I'll go with them. Right, so we'll go to the NFC side of things, and I can't really speak on comments of what I think about this game, so I'm going to let one of you start with it.
I'm going to give the people what they want. The people's Super Bowl. The Washington Commanders versus the Buffalo Bills in New Orleans, February 9th. That's Jane Daniels versus Josh Allen. I don't believe a word that's coming out of my mouth right now. It's going to be Chiefs and Bills again. But for the people, this is what we want to see. This is what we want to see. A rookie QB making it to the Super Bowl. And look, the Eagles have not impressed me in this playoff run. They squeezed past the Rams. They squeezed past a not good Packers side, although they've been all right this season, not great in the playoffs. So the Commanders, I actually think, might be more likely to win than the Bills, which sounds a bit mental. But I think what we said about Jalen Hurts before might really come into play. Like, if Kenny Pickett plays snaps in this game, it's over. You know what I mean?
Kid?
Pretty similar to your Bills thing. I've not picked the Commanders to win a single game in this playoffs. And I'm still not gonna, because I don't think they will. But I do think that, like Max said, it's the people's Super Bowl. No one wants to see Eagles Chiefs. You know, it's like, honestly, like, if we see that again, I might just go to sleep early on February the 9th. Well, this game, I think that.
Come away from London, mate. Don't you dare go to bed early.
Right, yeah, but I'm going to pick the Eagles. I just, like you say, I've not been really impressed with them, but they can turn it on. You've got to think of Saquon Barkley's influence on the game as well. Look, I struggle to back against this Eagles team. They just sort of dig in and get the job done. Pretty gritty football team, but look, we'll see. I'm hoping it's Bills Commanders. I think it's going to be Bills Eagles.
They're showing highlights of the Commanders versus Lions right now, and I'm sorry, but the Commanders are winning this game. Jaden Daniels is electric, man. He's so good. I don't care. The Commanders are winning. I actually believe that. I believe it this time as well.
Yeah, funnily enough, but there's two teams on both sides of this bracket that I didn't pick to win a single game in the playoffs. And
that's because you got shit takes, mate.
And you know what? As it has, who was the predictions champ, mate?
Yeah, you're the one who ran that. I'm running the document. No, I'm not. I can't be bothered with that.
I was going to say none of you can be asked to do it. That's why I know I can do it.
I
didn't need to cheat, mate. You got 4 out of 14 on one of the weeks.
It was 5.
Oh, sorry, 5. You got worse than Caden, mate. Retire.
That was only one bad week, by the way.
Yeah, but then you also on the last week you had like 6, and I had like 13.
That didn't matter.
It evidently did.
The last week never matters. Ask the Bills. They played Mitch Trubisky.
But yeah, I haven't picked the Commanders to win a single playoff game, and in like wanting to not jinx this as well, I'll just back against the teams I haven't backed all thing. I'm gonna pick the Eagles to win. I do think they will, but as I said, like no one wants the Eagles Chiefs at all. It's just the worst possible Super Bowl for me. I hate both of them, but I hate the Chiefs less than the Eagles, so it's gonna have to be the Chiefs back in there. But Bills Commanders, obviously I'm backing the Bills to win that. If it comes to it, I just don't want to see that any one of our division win the Super Bowl. Just can't deal with them two fan bases. They're horrible. But I'm going to back the Eagles. I think Saquon Barkley is just, I don't know how the Commanders are going to be able to stop him, if I'm being honest. I don't think they've faced someone as good as him as far as the run game goes all season, apart from the games against the Eagles.
Played Philadelphia.
Yeah, and I don't know if did they win any of them games?
Yeah, they did.
Was it 1-1?
Yeah, they beat Tanner McKee, I think.
Oh, well, in that case, then yeah, this might be an Eagles win then.
There's 2 bits of breaking news that have come out while we've been on here. So, the first one, Liam Cohen is staying in Tampa. He's been given a new contract. And the second one is more sort of, it's not massive, but it's cool for me. The Raiders are hiring the Buccaneers assistant GM, John Spytek, who was the main driver to bring Tom Brady to Tampa. So I can see why it's happened. He's one of the most sought-after young GMs in the league. So let's see what he can do. He's got a big job on his hands.
enough.
Just a side
Cool.
note. It wasn't the Tanner McKee game. It was the game where Jalen Hurts got injured and then Kenny Pickett came in and threw for 143 yards. And they won by 3 points, the Commanders.
If you're only beating Kenny Pickett by 3 points, then there might be issues. But yeah, I'm going to back the Eagles, and hopefully I'm wrong on both of them, and then it's a Bills Commanders Super Bowl, and it'll be a lot more bearable, as we can probably all in unison in your house back the Bills, rather than me going for the Chiefs and everyone
I've got
else
the
going.
Bills flag.
Isn't it?
I bought the massive Bills flag, which I'll make sure to get on the podcast next week, win or lose.
But I mean, that is all from us. I think this week, as a short
Whoa,
episode.
We're not doing our question.
we've got
Oh no, sorry, yes, of course. The
Podcast
question.
work.
The question. Well, this was your question. So, Troy, you can introduce it because this was got from.
Wait. I'm going to
Would
give
you
a
like me to
shout.
introduce it?
I'm going to give a shout out to the person who asked the question. I forgot who it is in the Discord.
Bear.
By the way,
Brown.
join our Discord.
Yeah, if you want to ask us questions that you want to see answered, make sure to join the Discord. We're quite active in it, and it's a good community for NFL UK as well. So if you
Never
want
mind.
to join it, I'll get Max to put it in the description. And just join, chat some shit. That's what we do.
Also,
the
come on
guy-
Ken's TikToks.
I think the guy's name is actually Ryan.
Yeah, I've realised I'm not giving him a shout out because I realise he's the Jake Bobo guy. Look, I'm not giving him one question. But the question is, who do we think our most disappointing players of the 2024 season have been? I'm
Can I
gonna
go first?
Yeah, you can go first. Go out for one. Yeah.
So don't let me go first because I have no idea.
Cheetah.
Tyreek Hill.
Are we doing this again? Really? Are you gonna make me edit in loads of cheaters
No,
again?
I'm not. I'm not going off on one about him, but he's meant to be one of the premium wide receivers in the league. He ended the season with 6 touchdowns.
What am I correct in saying that when they do, like when they tweet out the players one by one, it's like the top 100? Was he not number one?
Yeah.
He could have been. I mean, although we
was.
can't take that seriously because Aaron Rodgers was 92 and he played 3 snaps.
He was number one, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
So the quote unquote number one player in the league last year has ended the season with 6 touchdowns and didn't touch a 1,000-yard season. That for me is a disappointing year for someone like Tyreek Hill.
I would have to agree, although you could argue some of it's quarterback play. I feel like a player on the caliber of
Justin Jefferson had Sam Darnold thrown to him all year, by the way.
And I think, there's players in the league who are good receivers that don't have the best quarterbacks.
Malik Neighbors had a better season than Tyreek Hill and had a combination of Drew Lock, that's Tommy DeVito, Daniel Jones, and Tim Ball thrown in the ball.
Our tight end, Brock Bowers.
Yeah, their tight end beat
Gardner
him.
Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, and Desmond Ridder, and he had more yards than Tyreek Hill. If you're a good receiver, you get.
Skylar Thompson is maybe the worst quarterback I've ever seen.
I think Desmond.
You genuinely think Skylar Thompson would be worse than what we had all season?
The Dolphins also had Tim Boyle, by the way, and then went to you.
He played like one game for us.
Tyreek Hill for me.
I'm trying, Max. Have you got one? Because I'm really struggling there. I can't really think of one bar Tyreek Hill.
Jake Bobo. Anyone who watches the podcast but doesn't watch your TikTok lives or in the Discord, they're just going to be confused as to why I'm about.
There's not many of
them. That's true. Disappointing players this season. JJ McCarthy didn't play a snap.
Christian McCaffrey.
I don't know. It's a hard one. I'm trying to think of who I had high expectations for that just kind of flopped.
Can I throw another Dolphin?
Christian McCaffrey, his leg fell off.
Can I throw another Dolphin in?
You just hate the Dolphins now.
What they're thinking, I get he was injured, but Tua knows that he cannot sustain hits to the head, yet he still dives with his head.
What, Tua turned the ball over?
Yeah. I think he had a disappointing season as well. So I don't even dislike the Dolphins, but I think they're just full of absolute spanners.
I'm going to say mine is Amari Cooper because he wasn't very good for us at all. He went to the Bills, showed a few signs of promise, and then kind of just fell off a cliff. And I know he's getting on a bit. He's 30, 31 now. but I expected more from him, especially in a team where he's got the MVP thrown to him. And I don't mean James Winston. I don't know. I just expected more from him as like a known wide receiver one in the league, and he kind of didn't deliver for the Browns or for the Bills, really. I mean, who knows? He might score 3 touchdowns in the championship game, but I'm going to go with Matty Cooper, I think.
I'll give a shout out to the entire Bengals defense for not making the playoffs with the best offensive player and probably one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Quite impressive. Well done, lads. I don't really know, to be honest. I was going to say Tyreek Hill. Again, I was going to say CJ Stroud as well, but I feel like if he made it as far as he did, you can't really put him in there. But I think for what everyone expected him to do from his first season and how he just didn't really live up to it, I don't know if I feel like it's not really what I can put in there when he did make the divisional round of the playoffs. But at the same time, it was a pretty poor season. I mean, Jalen Hurts as well is objectively got worse.
I'm not sure you can put someone who's in the championship game in there.
It's awkward because a lot of players haven't had the best seasons, but they've done really well in the whole, like, in the grand scheme of things. So I'm just going to have to agree with you. I was going to say Tyreek Hill, so I have to stick with him. I just think, as you said, if you're supposed to be one of the best, you're probably not the best, but at least top 3 in the league in your position, and you don't break 1,000 yards. And there's been some questionable receivers, including Jerry Jeudy, who broke 1,000 yards this season. So I think if he is and you're not, there's some issues there. So I'm going to go key and say Tyreek Hill is the most disappointing player.
I've got a new one, Mark Andrews.
Yeah, Mark Andrews was dropping the ball.
He was basically playing as a left tackle near the start of the season as well. I kept betting on him to score touchdowns, and he just wasn't making any moves.
Gamble responsibly.
Yeah, as always.
Do, please do.
Right, I think that's
end the episode, man.
Yeah, I think that's it from us this week. So obviously this is our penultimate seasonal episode anyway. We'll be back with our
NFL honors next week, as no one wants to talk about the Pro Bowl because that's boring.
Oh yeah,
NFL honors next week.
NFL honors episode potentially. Yeah,
we've also got a potential another episode this week, but don't count on it.
Yeah, we're not sure yet. But
you don't deserve 2 videos.
But if you do want more content, then head over to the Fourth Down Focus TikTok, James's TikTok, my TikTok. We do a lot of live videos and stuff, so there's always content on the go. So if you want even more of us, then we're over on TikTok.
No one wants more of this.
Unless your name's Bear. Anyway.
Now I'll Bear. If you were on Kian's TikTok live last night, you know all about Bear.
Had to get it in there. Right. I think that's all from us this week. So, as we said, we might have another episode, but if not, we'll probably do our NFL awards episode during the Pro Bowl week when it happens. But that is our preview and review of the week ahead and behind. Thank you to Kian and Max for joining me, and we will see you all next week for our honours episode.
Isn't it?
Buckeyes are national champions.